Hey guys, welcome to the MrMaple Show. So we are here at the Buchholz Nursery here in Gaston, Oregon. Just got done shooting a top 5 with Brian, walking around, and I said, hold up, I need to get in on this. I need to talk about some of these plants. And I'm standing next to Geisha Gone Wild. We're talking about a Talon Buchholz introduction right here, but this thing's got flash. The variegation on this and the way the leaves twist. What I really love about this tree is that when you get that spring color of those pinks that just flash in the garden, but when you get into those summer months, when those pinks get more of that white color to it, and then you get more of that green. So you retain that variegation all through the season. But the thing that really stands out to me, this thing is a tank. For variegation that you get pink, you could put this in those more sunny areas and it's going to do well. I've got a buddy in Memphis, Tennessee that has one of these, and this here is a focal point plant. You talk about you want that focal point in your garden. This is one of those cultivars that's going to give you. I tell you, people, I've seen it with my own eyes when I go back to Memphis and visit. People will come driving down your road and see this tree, and they're going to slow down and stop and look at it. The twisting leaves, that variegation. And we're standing here at Buchholz. Talk about a Buchholz introduction right here. I had to put this on my list, Geisha Gone Wild. Okay guys, for my next one, and these are in no particular order because you can't walk around Buchholz Nursery and have a particular order. These are just the ones that, you know, walking through the trails and the pathways that just really stand out to me right now, that make me, you know, like I really want to talk about this. I'm standing next to this gorgeous, huge fairy here. Now, what I love about this tree is how small and thin those leaves are. I mean, it's almost like it says hair or strings. But the thing that stands out the most about this is I had the luck to be able to come out here on an earlier trip during fall. And I know it's hard to get those pictures to really show, but the reds that this goes to during the fall shines like no other tree I've ever seen, especially it being a linear lobum like that. But then with those thin leaves also, when the wind blows through it and the way it moves like no other Japanese maple I've ever seen. So fairy here had to be on the list. But at the same time, next on the list, standing next to this huge Makawa Yatsubusa. Now, we all think of that Makawa Yatsubusa. We say it's a dwarf. Now, this tree, you know, we figure it's been in the ground for at least 50 years. And we, you know, talking to Talon, it was a pretty good size before he put it in the ground here. But the reason I need to talk about this tree is because I joke with Brian Rule a lot. You know, he collects all the Makawa types. And I actually had to buy him a Makawa Yatsubusa because I said, Brian, do you have a Makawa Yatsubusa in your collection? You know, I've got Red Panda, Japanese Princess, Mayday. I've got all these in my collection, but how do you not have a Makawa Yatsubusa? So I had to buy him one. This is the tree that started it all for a lot of people. And this is the tree, I mean, look at all the seeds that are on this. This is the seed machine for all those different variants that you see coming out. This tree, you know, we suspect is probably the largest one possibly in the world. But I had to put it on my list just out of the sheer just the size of this, because you don't ever get to see something like this, you know, in person unless you're out here to be able to see that. Normally, you know, you think of Makawa Yatsubusa being this smaller dwarf-sized thing. This thing is a specimen. And the fact that we've got fairy here and the Makawa sitting side by side, just magnificent. But then I have to point it out, with this fairy here, with those green colors, with those reds that are kind of coming out on the stems, you got a heartbeat in front of it with that red, how it contrasts with each other. Just so magnificent in the garden, so magnificent for the landscape. Two of my favorite here at Buchholz Garden. Okay guys, I gotta tell you, one of the first trees that I fell in love with was Shishi Shigeru. I had to get one that first time seeing that structure and those leaves and how they curl and all that stuff. And then I found out, wait a minute, there's a whole family of lion's head. I'm standing next to Ojishi. Now this tree, I love it. Look at the pure size of this tree. The leaves sit a little bit flatter than Shishi Shigera, but you're gonna get those same oranges and reds that you get with Shishi. But what I find fascinating about this one here at Buchholz Farm is just that pure size. Mine at home, I've had for about 4 years now, and it's maybe 1.5 feet tall. And we're standing next to this huge one right here. But so the other day I was talking to Talon. I said, Talon, how old is this tree? If you had to guesstimate how old this tree was, he said, well, you know, at least 50 years old. So when we talk about dwarfs, it's all relative to age and time. Like I say, mine's 1.5 feet. The next biggest one I've seen is Matt and Tim's that they have at their parents'. And then I look at this one, so it's all relative. But this, what I love about it is that you get those same kind of small leaves as you do with Shishi Shigera. They sit a little bit flatter, but the growth habit is different. Where Shishi, you get this more kind of upright and branching out, where with Ojishi, you get kind of more of this spreading coming out. Just a fantastic tree, and walking by it here at Buchholz Nursery, I couldn't pass up putting this in my top 5 for just the magnificent trees here at Buchholz. Okay guys, this here, I had to talk about this. This is Monumental. The first time I ever came out here to Buchholz Nursery, this was probably the first tree that stuck out to me for a couple different reasons. One, we were here during the fall, and the fall colors of the yellows that this goes to is so intense that you can't but just be amazed by it. But the thing that I find so fascinating about this tree is it has those big leaves on it, but it is so columnar. And you know, I talk about in our landscaping videos that a aspect of gardens that sometimes, you know, some people kind of overlook is that vertical interest. And this here is a perfect example of a vertical interest in your landscape, because the first thing you do when you walk up to this thing, your head goes straight up. So if you have this in a part of the garden back in the back, that's gonna add depth to your landscape because your eyes are gonna be pulled out and up. And then you get those crazy, crazy yellow colors during the fall. I just had to spotlight this one, put it in this top 5 here at Buchholz because it was one of the first that I noticed in those yellow colors with that vertical interest. And I just wanted to point that out. Such an important thing in landscaping is including that vertical interest. And this is just a killer, killer tree. You know, the other day, Brian walked up and he's like, I gotta look inside there. And you know, the trunk of this thing is just huge, monumental. So not only monumental in height and that vertical interest, but that caliper in there is just so huge. An excellent, excellent tree. So remember, when you guys are doing your landscape and putting things together, don't forget about that vertical interest. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this top 5. That, you know, like I say, Brian and I walking around, I had to jump in and do one of the things that stand out here at Buchholz Nursery. So if you like this type of content, remember to like, subscribe, share, you know, and remember to, you know, get on, if there's something that you see, you know, when we talked about these trees that, you know, like, hey, I want that, but it's not available, remember to hit that notify button. And then we are always releasing every Tuesday, every Thursday. We're dropping our 10 at 10s, which are actually 20 trees. So you're getting 40 in that week, but we're always dropping new stuff. Sign up for that weekly newsletter. So when something comes to that 10 at 10, you get notified first that, hey, this is coming. We really appreciate you tuning in. Take care. God bless and have a great day.